Hello, what's the single most important thing a realtor can do when helping an owner sell their home for a higher net or more quickly? I've been asked that question multiple times because I'm an attorney and a real estate broker. I've sold over 130 homes the last few years, and I get consults not just from people selling their home with me as their realtor, but from people who are using agents out of state, but they live around here, and sometimes even when people are working and they want a second opinion. This is clear to me. It was explained to me 10, maybe more, around a decade ago by a guy named Matt Jones in North Carolina, who started a web company online to help realtors with leads. I've used it on and off ever since then. Not every client has the desire to go for it. And sometimes it doesn't matter because they're not trying to get the highest net for their home. They're just trying to price it well and sell it quickly, and they're not that stressed about an extra 2 to 5%, maybe 8% difference. To some people, that's not a motivating factor. But for the people that are motivated by getting the highest net with the least amount of hassle, because this definitely lowers hassle, the single easiest way to sell your home for more, if you're using realtors, is to take some of the listing commission and offer it to the buyer side. So let's say your total, and I know some people are at 5, but 2x4 is based on the 6% selling concept. So normally, most realtors would go 3 to the listing agent, 3 to the buyer's agent. So they offer 3 to the buyer's agent on the MLS. The buyer's agent show the houses. If they sell the home, the listing agent gets 3, the buyer's agent gets 3. Sometimes, so-called double siding, the listing agent gets both 3%. Some agents sometimes take 3.5, offer 2.5, and at 5%, you can reduce, a point, either half a point from each side or sometimes 1 point from the other. I think you get the idea. But on a 6% commission, the 2x4 home strategy states that I coined it. But rather than going 3x3, the listing agent takes 2, offers 4% to the buyer's agent. Now, the listing agent can still wind up selling the home double-siding and get the full commission. He's fully motivated to work hard. In fact, he really wants to sell it because there's a 4% commission there. The exact same motivation that comes about when the buyer's agents see that 4%. That's an unusual pop for them. I like to let them know by going to the Realtor MLS meeting and telling people that. I like to put it prominently in the MLS in the remarks section. And if necessary, I will also email it to agents, although some agents, for some reason, we're marketing all the time and intruding on people's lives, who prefer not to be bothered by real estate agents. Yet they get bugged when another agent sends them an email that says, hey, I'm offering you more money to sell this home. Let me strike that. They get bugged by emails, but if you're telling them I'm selling your home, I'm offering you more money if you sell my home, they aren't too bugged because I've frankly not had complaints about those types of emails. But that's the point. I have just recently sold a property for a friend that's a builder on the PB La Jolla edge. He fixed it up like a beautiful brand new remodeled La Jolla home, but it was in PB. And he wanted more than the range suggested. The other realtor couldn't do it for him. He really needed to get that money because he put $300,000 into the property. I told him this is what we're going to do. We're going to offer more to the buyer's side. And I don't want to go into it in any more depth than that, but by the way that transaction followed course, that extra money was very important to that buyer's agent. He worked very, very hard in that transaction, keeping it together, because that's the other thing. Sometimes when you're pricing at the top of the market, there's more buyer's remorse involved. So if you're going to go for the top end of the market, and you're going to have concerns about whether the property appraises, unless you're selling to a cash buyer, because they're going to get loans. You really need, if you're going to be a top dollar person, you want to offer more money to the buyer's agent so they can convince their buyers to stay in the transaction. We've had buyers and even ourselves sometimes have to contribute a little more to keep them in. But that move of taking, instead of going 3x3, but 2x4, I've seen it. Can sell homes that are difficult to sell, can get over the market for homes that would be easily sold at market value, can go over the range and makes the hassle. It's really interesting when, in terms of negotiations, when you're offering 4% in the MLS, how close people come in to your listing price all the time. On so many homes, I see offers coming in $3,000 under, where I would say, in my opinion, on the average home, you will see people coming in $20,000 under, $50,000 under, sometimes 5-10% down. We almost never see that when we're offering 4%. So the friend Matt Jones, who told me about this years ago, called in his book, in his presentation, he talks about, which I can get you the book, by the way, free. I have a license to it. He talks about bribing the buyer's agents. And he admits that's a little strong. I'm not really trying to get into bribing the buyer's agents. I'm just saying when you offer 4%, you would be surprised at how easily your home can be sold. So that, I think, is the single easiest thing to do. As a buyer's agent, I mean, as a seller's agent, I don't mind taking less because it makes the transaction so much easier. It makes my client so much happier. Homes sell faster. I wind up spending less time on the transaction. So to me, it's worth it. And I cannot stress enough how this is worth it to most home sellers. So if you're thinking about talking about this, there's other things that go along with it. We can talk. My video's already too long. I wouldn't just try this on my own for the first time. It may or may not work. But if you do the things that go with it, it works amazingly. John McConnin, San Diego Homesearch.org is probably where you'll find it. Maybe 2x4 home selling. Sometimes I have a separate page for that. Right now, when I'm done with this video, it will forward to my San Diego Home Search page. Or just call me at 760-415-5873. Thanks.